People are it's going to be Sodom and Gomorrah down there.
Yeah, it'll get
3
nasty.
hours to go. What if they rescue them and like
There's blood all
Peter's
over
got
the
his
wall.
dick in his hand, somebody's hanging upside down like David Carradine.
There's shit everywhere.
There's feces everywhere. It's like somebody's got lipstick on.
Dude.
There's lipstick all over everybody.
Oh my God.
And they're like, we're saved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather not be. I got a real shit-eating grin on your face. Is it because we got golf today?
Yeah, we get to talk a little bit of golf, but also just before we went live, don't touch me.
Nate moves his hand away from his mouth.
Just before we went live, you had mentioned that Nate got a really cool Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to both of you.
Thank you. You as well. So Nate got a Father's Day gift. Is there a baby here?
Sounds like
So
hate.
it sounds like he doesn't keep up with current events because he was in Italy.
Is there a baby here?
No, my girl's pregnant.
I understand that.
Okay, so
we've talked
this
about
is hate.
this.
This is a
This
code
is
break.
hate.
This is
This
a
is
code
hate.
break. Is
This
it a
is
code
hate.
break?
No,
to
this is-
celebrate
this is
Father's
hate.
Day when you're
This
not a
is
dad
hate.
yet.
This is hate.
You might say, "Man, I'm looking forward to my first Father's Day."
Are you saying I'm
when
not?
the baby
You might
comes?
say.
Are you saying I'm not caring for my baby right now?
I am absolutely not saying that.
So why wouldn't I?
What I'm
why
saying is,
wouldn't
I think it's
celebrate
peculiar
Father's
that you
Day?
got a push present like prior to the push.
Well, I got a cool Father's Day gift. Shout out to my girlfriend.
That's amazing that you got a gift from your gal, because that's like, it's not a Father's Day gift, but it's a great gift.
And baby
Say
mom,
it's a random.
I got tickets to see 50 Cent
That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
when he comes
Okay.
to Nova.
That's a fucking
Where's he playing?
badass gift.
In Nova.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta look.
Where in Nova?
I have to
You see,
do-
The
he's
White
busy
House.
worrying about being a dad. He doesn't know.
See, I don't. I was
Welcome
just
to
very,
the seriously though, I'm giving you a hard time. In all seriousness, welcome to the club.
Bristol,
He welcomed you to the club, Bristol.
Jiffy Lube Live. Jiffy Lube Live. Yeah,
You're gonna be a
I'm
great
excited.
dad. You're gonna be a fun dad.
We're the guys at to draw a golf comparison. We're the guys at the Masters dinner, and Nate just walks in with his green jacket.
Yes.
He picks his food. He's got fish fillet and the whole thing. What would you pick? Would it be, because you just polished off another fish?
Ooh.
You get plenty of
No.
omega-3s, man. I was reading about that. That's good.
Masters dinner. If I would pick, I think the biggest porterhouse that they can probably find.
Not those oxtail deals we were eating in Fort Lauderdale. We ate oxtails every night for a week.
My thing with that, I would just be, I'm not gonna lie, I would be hesitant to put the chefs out of their comfort zone. You know what I mean?
You
And
think
like,
master chefs can't handle oxtails, yeah.
well, maybe not the way that I would
That the
maybe
way you
like
like
it.
it,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So like, I think to get like the nicest, the fattest porterhouse that they could find, they're not gonna fuck that up.
No.
I would have
Is that different than what your electric chair meal would be? Like if somebody asked you what your master...
it's probably similar.
I think I would do research and just see if there's
it might
anything.
be the same one.
You can't go out after you win the Masters.
Yeah.
You just spend the whole night on the
I'm either
toilet,
dying or I'm
like
winning.
Stan Marsh.
Yeah,
How many
Elvis,
Keurigs
like Elvis. That's how he died
on the toilet.
shitter.
Yeah.
He said,
I was saying I would just try to do research if I was gonna get the electric chair to see if there's any food that would maybe make me I don't know, more like
less electric.
Yeah.
Less conductive.
Yeah, like what, like
Gonna eat
electric
an electric
retard.
eel.
Yeah.
Eat
a
rubber.
tire.
Eat a condom.
That's
rubber.
Can you imagine if a guy's about to ride the lightning and he's like, I need a Michelin.
Yeah, I just
need
want a tire.
I need a stack of Michelins. You know?
And you just withstand it.
Anyways, I think I do soft shell crab I love soft shell crab.
How do you eat that?
I can actually cook it.
How do you like? Do
Do you eat it?
Turns out you don't need to eat it to get that much rubber in your body, according to some OnlyFans accounts that I've heard about.
Really?
Like they
People are eating rubber on.
sit on microphones, so like the whole microphone stand size something.
Well, you're saying to
You could walk around with that apparently.
God, why am I getting all these calls right
People
now?
allegedly are walking around with baseball bats in their rectums.
I go soft shell crab.
If one was rubber, you might think that it would negate the.
I'm going to the electric chair after that take. I don't know. Hey, I'm going to the chair.
Yeah.
Kyle,
While we're on the topic,
would you come visit me?
at the electric chair,
Yeah, would you come watch?
I would watch.
You were never at my games.
I would watch.
Okay.
I'd be there. Make sure, tell him, don't get him to do it. Get the experience guy to do it.
I'd be like, give him some of my leftover crab.
Well, I know.
I need him too.
I know my guy Chris would come visit me.
I would.
Because
So we're talking about the dinner or the actual electrocution?
Are you ready to talk about this?
Yeah, because he already did. Chris, I had to do a 2-week stint in Charlottesville.
Like a month.
Albemarle,
And have everybody go kayaking
jail.
with.
Chris also picked me up from the jail.
And Chris came to visit me. And believe it or not, after Chris came to visit me, there were some wardens and guards that were big fans. So after the visit, they were just kind of giving me, yo, if anyone's bothering you in there, just let us know. Because, yo, we didn't know you were Chris Long's boy.
Wow.
So you've never talked about this, but
Chris, you have pull in jail. You're like,
I went in to see Nate. That was
That's
tough,
big.
man.
You're
That was
a polarizing
tough.
figure.
I know it's 2 weeks, but it was a long time. It felt like a long time. And I'm just wondering, did they have soft shell crab in there?
To be honest, not soft shell crab, but they have those.
hard shell crab.
Oh, what are they called? Why can't I think of it? Tuna Creations.
Tuna Creations.
So they're like bags of like
Like a baby
bumblebee tuna,
Yeah.
but like they have like spicy buffalo flavor and they have like crab flavored and stuff like that. And those guys in there, they did a lot of innovation with some of this stuff where realistically, if you had a taste for soft shell crab, they might not be able to make soft shell crab, but they might concoct something up in there for it to taste like that.
Could they make me some wine?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, toilet wine.
No, I know. I'm wondering how they made it in there. The hooch.
Yeah, that's fermented apples. And
Toilet wine, dude.
While I was in there, like a dude, he was trading like honey buns for people's apples, like because they had hooch brewing and they were making new like hooch. But unfortunately, while I was there, they did like a sweep.
Yeah.
And
Feds did a sweep.
yeah, they had to throw it out.
Damn, dude. That's
Yeah.
hardcore.
Do they have to
Yeah.
drink their unburped fermented apple juice?
I did not
They're
partake.
like, since you fucking brewed it, you gotta chew it. You know what I mean? You gotta fucking
you
eat
like
it now.
hooch? Have 6
Eat the
apples.
whole hooch.
It's like the cigarette thing.
Oh, no.
Smoke the whole pack. You like cigs.
I did not partake in any.
What was the cig
jail
life like? Are they smoking hoons in the thing?
There was no cigarettes, but believe it or not, there was
No
two
cigarettes.
There was
I don't even
people-
believe that.
There was people smoking spice, and I
was a
watched
bad phase.
I watched 2 people get carried out on stretchers from smoking spice. That was potentially brought in there, and another inmate's rectum.
Damn,
Spicy
dude.
spice.
You want to talk about down bad?
Let's
You
hope
want
he
to talk
used a
about?
washcloth.
You want to talk about liking to catch a buzz? That makes me feel a lot better about myself. Like these guys are so hell bent on catching a buzz. They're smoking butthole spice.
It's bad.
Do you
It's a
think?
bad- it's a bad
man.
ordeal.
What's the scariest part of jail?
That you're in there
sex.
You're in there with people who seem like they have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like
just
whether
wackos.
they're being serious or not, like that's scary. And like just like you're saying, there's people in there with serious like mental health things going on. So just the uncertainty,
Yeah.
the uncertainty of things, like when you're just getting in there not knowing what's going on, like not knowing that once in a while this dude's just gonna blurt out and go crazy and just like he's gonna be cool. Things like that is like it's kind of scary.
I would have to try you the first day in jail.
It
You'd
wasn't
be the guy because I was looking around there. You were the head honcho.
It was a plus for me that I was big because the area I end up being in kind of not the person who I wouldn't say is in charge, but the person that kind of was in charge. No, like he immediately
was the head guy in charge.
gravitated towards me.
Yeah, he needed a henchman.
Like to be friends rather than like try to beef. And so
you were the assistant head guy in charge.
but I felt like he did it strategically because there was a few other guys that like they had respect, but like they weren't cool, and he just didn't want any of those guys, me to get cool with any of those guys first.
Got it. Yeah.
But it was one of those things where it's honestly like being in a summer camp that you don't want to be in, like that,
or a winter camp. It could be too.
That's what it ended up like being, but I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
Last question before we get to like the rest of the podcast. I did not know you wanted to talk about jail today, but this has been. I know it's probably been interesting for the dudes. It's been some years now.
I didn't even realize that.
This was the beginning of the pandemic.
I got stopped with weed in a
Okay.
I can make a rap album now.
I just wanted to make sure.
So yeah, I mean, like this was right before the pandemic. You went in, and then when you came out, it was like an apocalypse.
So the day when I got out, it was like January, like 22nd. I think COVID happened in like February, like a few weeks later, and it was one of those things I tell everyone. I was kind of like, it was at the worst time in my life when I got out of jail. Like my life shifted tremendously, and when that happened, when I got home, my ex-wife had left, bank accounts cleared.
Damn.
And
Yo,
so,
it's
like,
crazy. I'm the last person to see her.
Yeah, because Chris came to visit me the same day that she did. And
I'm
so
the last person to see her. She was like, she was like, come to see Nate. She was all broke up about it. We walked out of jail together. He hasn't seen her since. Doesn't know where she is.
So realistic, Chris was the last person to see my ex.
People
but we're
not interested in following any leads.
Nah.
Life is good now.
But basically, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was legit like depressed, and I say like the one thing that kind of got me out of depression was the fact that COVID happened. And like everyone was like depressed, like everyone was sitting at home. Everyone
was
had,
the equalizer.
Yeah, like everyone had problems, but like everything stopped. There was like no work going on, nothing like that, and it kind of gave me time like to sit back. But
damn, dude,
crazy,
it's crazy. Time
crazy,
flies.
yeah,
It's crazy.
What? Last question. What about the TV?
So the TV is like an interesting deal in there, and it's one of those things where I got lucky one night because after being in there like 3 or 4 days, someone found out that like I used to play football, so it was kind of like you start getting the questions, and people start working up the nerves to be like, hey, you ever play against Tom Brady or this and that?
Joe Montana?
And during this time when I went in, this is when they were doing that 3-part doc about Aaron Hernandez. And so when I got locked up, I think the first 2 parts already had aired, and like people, they were asking me about it because they had been watching it in there. And
does he have street cred in there?
It wasn't that. It's just that people, they were interested in it. Like he was a guy that's locked up, kind of like they were, and we were at the time. So it was just interesting, like for them being locked up to see. They're looking at different stuff. Like, oh, look what that jail gets to do. Look what they get to do. It's a funny dynamic because that's the type of stuff they're looking like. Oh, like damn, like if I was in jail in Boston.
Like when we see another team's training camp.
Yeah,
like what the fuck they got?
Belichick has them playing first class.
They have a pool.
Yeah, or damn, they got 2 TVs in there or whatever it is. And I remember the night of the thing, there was some drag race event going on, and kind of like the redneck white boys in there.
Drag race, like auto racing?
Yeah, like it was like the History Channel. It's like a History Channel like reality show one. It's like one of like
Fast and Loud.
It's like one of those shows, I think. And it was coming on at the same time, and there was like a beef. There was like a little bit of a beef about the TV that night, but we ended up getting to watch the the Aaron Hernandez doc.
There was beef though.
Yeah, there was. There was definitely beef. But interesting thing,
American Pickers is in the mix.
I watched the guy before a few guys end up going to the hospital. I watched the guy innovatively light whatever they were smoking by using a battery that was from the TV remote and
A wire.
2 staples.
Yeah, that'll work.
That guy is more impressive than Thomas Edison to me.
Dude, to watch him do this all while being like with his face in the toilet, basically to mask the smoke.
Yeah.
Like it's the worst way of trying to smoke. Imagine
Jail sucks, huh?
Imagine taking a puff and then trying to
stay out of it,
like blowing and flushing it down the toilet and thinking that it doesn't smell.
Real quick, you guys were mentioning shellfish in jail, like getting to eat shellfish. Back in the day in Maine, lobsters were so plentiful that was all they would give to the prisoners.
No way.
They had lobster every day, and they were so sick of it that they had a prisoner riot rebellion.
Probably no butter though.
Probably not.
And with no butter, lobster
It's just shrimp.
Yeah, well, not even. You know.
Yeah, it's a little
A
overrated.
lot of people.
All right, so that was
too.
that was interesting. Thanks, Nate, and I'm glad you're good, man.
Were there any glory holes?
What? So like I wasn't in individual pods. So like basically I was like in a big area and there was
saw
like,
him.
There was like what 15, 40 or 50 people like in it.
Okay, that's a lot.
It's like it's like being locked in a football locker room for 2 weeks. Like to be totally honest.
So it's like a bunkhouse,
and there's a lightning delay,
like a barracks in Major Pain. Remember, they all slept in like the one.
Yes, it's just like that.
Okay,
it's like that.
So it's not little.
But there was a upstairs and a downstairs.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you talked about that.
Did you beat anybody up?
It just goes to show, like, if somebody goes to jail, there's this big stigma about it. Like, Nate's the fucking
I would have had to slap somebody just to say.
over a plant and some other shit, and it's dumb, dude. It's dumb.
It's not good. It's not cool.
It's dumb, but he's great.
Some makeshift body armor.
at him
Did
now.
you make any body armor?
No, thankfully I didn't have to do
You think anybody's like,
notebooks?
man, I love that podcast. I was in the joint with him. I don't know. So, anyways. All right. So, Kyle's looking at me like so disapproving.
No,
You're like a dad had more of a sense of humor.
I'm just.
All right. We do layup line. We do hello. I'll start with layup line. I love Curtis Mayfield. Now You're Gone is my favorite Curtis Mayfield song.
I've got a Curtis Mayfield
that's gonna
song
be,
on my Spotify somewhere.
my layup line. I love Curtis Mayfield. I was riding around listening. Will didn't like some of my music, and then the shuffle came on. William Hayes was in town, and Mayfield came on, and he was like, "No, this is what the fuck I'm talking about here, Holmes." So we bonded over some Mayfield. Guam. Hello. No, we're big in Guam, man. We busted out the global map. We got like a war room here with like a big map, like
bunch
we're in the
of pins
Navy.
in it.
Yeah, and it's got sonar, and there's a little glow down.
How
in Guam.
deep does your sonar go?
Well, that's good you ask. We should talk about the Titanic people, but yeah, Guam nowhere near what's going on at the Titanic.
Yeah.
Nova Scotia,
Titanic. We have no pins off of Newfoundland.
There are people listening in Guam, and to you guys, we want to say thanks and glad you're free from the Japanese.
Yeah, what up, Guam?
You're welcome. Sort of. I guess.
We got some bad.
I don't know how you feel about.
We got some bad boys and girls over there in Guam. Some military over there, right?
Yeah, and shout out to them too, Kyle. The Titanic thing. We just hit that right now.
Iceberg.
They had 98 hours of oxygen when it started. 41 hours left. For people that don't know, who are not online, because I know there's a lot of people listening to this pod that are like not online,
which is cool.
You probably don't know about the submersible that's gone missing. I am out on submarines. Okay, this is a program.
Yeah, dude.
That
I barely go underwater in the pool.
Well, let me say this: this is the safest submarine you could be on.
Is it?
Well, the CEO of the fucking company's on it, and so is the richest guy in Britain.
But look, can we read the disclaimer? I mean the release.
It's not totally safe,
bro. The release form, is crazy. The wording of it.
Have you ever looked at a release form at a fucking carnival? Before you get on Skymaster,
small font.
Yeah. In the release form, it says that you may endure emotional damage.
Well, yeah, no question. Yeah, because you're claustrophobic. It's a 20-foot submersible, Holmes.
It also stated this experimental vessel has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body. And
It's not NOx-A
Why,
certified.
if you're that rich, why would you agree to go on this? Like,
it
why?
was controlled by a fucking
Why is this a good idea?
video game controller.
Exactly.
It's hilarious.
The controller.
Well, they're
doesn't-
down there playing God of War now.
Bro,
You know?
I'm not trusting
I
something
hope
like,
they got PlayStation. I'm serious now, because you think about the
Playing
time that
God
you got
for sure.
You playing
All I
God,
think
yeah.
about is the poop situation in that.
Oh, I didn't think about that, Kyle.
Like, you can't, you just air it out. Good joke, John.
Wow.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, they can't shit down there.
But who's the guy
they
down
can't
there?
see either.
Oh, they can't see?
So this,
I hope
It's
they have
so
a
dark.
camera inside it so that later on we can see the footage. Like
Yeah, because they're coming out.
Because
dude.
they have to. Like
They're coming out.
We're going to go get them.
We're going to go get them. Now, there's a boat in Boston. The problem here is they're 13,000 feet below
The
the...
sonar that the Coast Guard has can ping past 13,000 feet.
So they
will
need
be
a deep water boat.
They will
that's
be
already
able to
all
find
the way in
something, but I'm not
Boston.
sure. Is it in Boston?
Giddy up.
Yeah, we'll get the duck boat
You know
in the
what?
water.
You know
Get
what's
Gronk
good
out there.
The one thing I can say that's good about the YouTube culture, I bet you there's a guy who's on YouTube and they're gonna help solely for the clout. And
100%.
hopefully
No, but
with,
in
with
the-
enough people, like
Remember the boys who got
working
stuck in the
together.
cave?
In the MH370, how could you forget, Kyle? Remember the Chilean miners? They didn't think they were coming out. These people are coming home, Kyle. And, if they don't, Netflix is all over it. Because I saw MH370. They made a whole fucking
And they don't
documentary
even know where
about
it is.
And they don't even know anything.
Yeah,
Because
they
look,
don't know
like-
anything.
At least we know the
Explorers?
area. And, it's probably next to the Titanic.
Let me
It's
ask you
definitely not
this.
in the Titanic.
Why don't they have two of these things?
One of the
That's the
would
question
make-
I have,
yeah, that
because
makes
like,
sense. Go
well,
get
nobody
the
can
other
go
one.
where this thing
Yeah,
goes.
you
How
have a
about make a
backup.
second one, dude,
Yeah.
with all your money?
So there's a guy that's on there that like he goes exploring, and I think supposedly he's been to space before. And I was gonna ask, not saying that I hope he dies or anything like that.
the
I'm not saying
fuck,
that.
mate?
But do you think that for this guy, realistically, if this is the way like he might like perish, like do you think like it's justifiable like for him? Like he's seen space, and now realistically he's gonna see the depths of the ocean, like on his way out. Do you think that he'll like, hey, I'm an explorer. Like if I'm gonna have to pick a way to go out,
He's
This
reached
is
the
probably his way.
the enlightened state.
I just hope nobody's like, it's all dark down there and quiet, and somebody's like, hey, Peter, what was better, space or here?
or he's down there. It's like, yo, this is just like space.
except
Well, it's
except
not
there's
like
no
the movie
fun.
Gravity, I don't know, man. I think it's a terrible way to go. It's got to be one of the worst ways to
Can you
go.
But
believe
here's my
that-
thing too.
that-
Like, doesn't it like at some point? I don't know if this is right or not. Like, wouldn't like the air pressure like crush them or?
No.
No?
Well, once the
If there is a
pressurization
puncture-
runs out, they have...
It should be built. The submarine should be built to withstand the pressure. At
Even if
13,000 feet.
oh, so we know where they're at. They're just stuck there.
We don't know where they are.
That's what
but
I'm saying.
they're
So what if it
stuck
goes?
underwater.
What if it goes past that?
I have a question about currents. Are there currents all the way down there that could pull them along the
Oh, I would
ocean?
bet you.
Yeah.
There are.
But they know the direction, probably.
But remember, they have their video game controller, so it can send
Yeah.
them wherever they're
Exactly.
I have a fucked up
Okay,
question.
all jokes aside,
the
though,
gameplay seems a little fucked up.
it seems like an alpha, not even a beta.
So like right now they have 40 hours of air left for a certain number of people.
What are we doing?
Well, like
Where is Bruce
let's say it
Willis?
gets down to like 4 hours, 3 hours, and there's 6 people still on that. At one point, are you going to sacrifice yourself so somebody can live longer?
what?
Because there's more air?
More air.
Absolutely not.
No, I was thinking like
I'll kill them.
people are it's going to be Sodom and Gomorrah down there.
Yeah, it'll get
3
nasty.
hours to go. What if they rescue them and like
There's blood all
Peter's
over
got
the
his
wall.
dick in his hand, somebody's hanging upside down like David Carradine.
There's shit everywhere.
There's feces everywhere. It's like somebody's got lipstick on.
Dude.
There's lipstick all over everybody,
Oh my god.
and they're like, "We're saved."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather not be.
What's the ratio of people on there? Are there any females on there?
Okay.
Are
I
there?
think it's a bunch of dudes.
Well, you did jail. Does it
Yeah.
matter?
No, like I'm just saying, like
They got some crab meat down there.
All right, that's too much. They're coming home.
They're coming home.
They're coming home. You wanted an explanation. That's my explanation, Kyle.
Yes.
And you know what? Is it okay to laugh like this?
I hope
don't
so.
know.
That's what
it
this
says
is
something
for.
about the human condition, like the Chicken Man said.
Like,
Man,
we
stare
want
into
those
the dark.
fuckers to come home.
I want them to come home, but also
I want to make jokes about
you
it.
choose your own adventure, man. You go to the bottom of the sea in a beta stage submersible.
Not even a
with a
PS4
PlayStation.
controller.
It looked like a PS2 controller. People are going to get their jokes off online.
Yeah.
And, you could say, hey, karma's a bitch. Well,
Do you
I won't
remember
be
when
in
you
one
used
of
to
those
put
things.
your head in like you put the bucket over your head and you go underwater and there's an air bubble?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What if you just took that all the way to the bottom to go save them?
This is the fucking dumbest question I've ever heard. I love it. I love it.
you die.
Great. You'll die. Thank you. mate.
All right. So, anyways,
It would be too cold.
sports. Ian Rappaport had a tweet. We were just talking about this with Colt McCoy, and that interview was a lot of fun. So go back and listen to that. But he had just come out of the league meeting where they say like, hey, don't point guns at people, don't abuse your wife, like please, like try to avoid.
Call us if you're drunk.
Like, well,
And
that
you're driving.
seems less obvious than the stuff that they lead with. But the gambling, don't gamble. You guys reading the news, the whole thing. It's been kind of cloudy what the actual rules are as far as like what the NFL players have to follow. In fact, I didn't know all the rules. When I played, I didn't know all the rules, but I also wasn't like gambling. So,
Don't bet on the NFL.
okay, seems simple. That's the one everybody knows.
Don't gamble at your team facility
They need to bring you in, Kyle. They need to wheel you in.
while
and-
traveling for a road
just
game
read
or
the-
staying at a team hotel.
Yep. Seems simple, guys.
Number 3, don't have someone bet for you. Number 4, don't share team inside information.
Yep, I think we knew that one too.
And we all know what that means.
And
don't-
don't play
What is it?
daily fantasy.
Don't give injury information. Don't give game plan information. Don't give
Yeah.
roster info. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
simple shit.
Things like that
Stuff that
happen.
could give the other team a competitive advantage.
Things like that happen.
Absolutely.
Also ruins the integrity of the gambling market for the NFL. But like things like that happen, and what happens from that is the scene in Vegas where I think Josh Allen's out, and he's not out because somebody somewhere said something, and somebody picked it up, and it got to me.
Number 5.
Look at this. So if I'm for number 4, if I'm a player like Marshawn Lynch, every time a reporter asks me a question, I'm going to say, hey, I think that's inside information. I don't want to answer that.
And that's why
Yeah,
we
that's
can't
good.
have
I'm
nice
scared to
things.
get in trouble for the
Yeah.
new gambling rules.
That's good.
What happens if a guy says that the whole season now?
You might have just planted a seed.
Number 5,
do you think
don't
should do
enter
that?
a sports book during the NFL season.
Okay.
I think that's see, that's what
the
I was
tricky one.
That's what
That's
I was
hard.
saying about
Yeah.
the Super Bowl being in Vegas. So the Super Bowl is still
Season's not over.
during the season.
Sports book. You could be at the team hotel that houses a sports book, and you can still stay out of it.
Really though?
No,
Because it
like,
gets kind of like
I think
Yeah,
that's,
you
that's on
can.
the fringe. But what happens if
If
you
they said stay out of the bar, you would know where not
so
to
if
go.
I'm the
the whole lobby, some Vegas places, the entire lobby is a bar. So that's in the fringe,
but
bro.
it's not a
Where you-
sports book.
But
Sports
you're
book's off to
saying-
the side.
All right,
I
yeah,
get-
it is.
What if
but
you're
how do-
grabbing food? What if you're sitting at the restaurant in the win, and the back half of that restaurant is really in the sports
Technically
book,
in the sports book.
and you don't know that?
You know
and
what I
someone
do?
takes a picture. Now you're suspended for a year.
I would be like, show me the receipts and show me the camera footage of me doing business at the sports
And
book.
what-
I was eating.
You know that
if
guy
there's
that-
that much,
It doesn't
if there's
say
that
do
much of a
business.
gray area,
It doesn't say do business.
yeah, but you're not in it. Like I'm eating at the restaurant.
I know, Kyle, but take your risk here because
I would eat very close to
bang
the
the gavel
server.
on you.
I would be not on the side of the sports
If
book.
I was in the NFL right now, what I'd do is I'd take the video of the guy that fakes like he's jumping off the balcony and fakes like he's drinking bleach, and then I'd go in the win and I'd like fake like I'm going to the sports book, and I just walk next to the sports book and play games.
Number 6.
Until
this one's
a fan
tough.
pushes you over the line.
Like
And
a
then-
fucking Cowboys fan pushes me into the fucking
Yep.
sports book.
And then you're on video in an altercation in a sports book.
I got one. How about
Guy.
AC Wolf took Derek Carr like last year, kidnapped him, and put him in the sports book? Just posed him in there like the movie with the Weekend at Bernie's.
Yes.
Like
Propped him up beside the
had him
jukebox.
sitting there
I tell you
with
one
a ticket
thing.
in his hand.
I tell you one
suspended.
thing.
It's
I don't
tell you one
understand
thing,
that don't play
Zion-
football. Don't play fantasy football.
It's betting, bro. Like because if you win it, you win money.
No, but it's daily
daily
fantasy.
fantasy. It's a little
If you
different.
play fantasy in leagues that
That's
are
the
less than
big
like
word.
a $200 prize, then you're okay.
College World Series this week, and we've
yes, we
been
did. We're still
we've been
going on.
watching the Jello Shot board, and we had a team just run away with
That's
it. Go
still going
crazy.
on, the College World Series?
Still going on.
I thought it ended the other night.
Nope,
It
still
did for
rolling.
us, unfortunately.
Okay, can I just say this? I tried to do it the other day with Macon, and I got too worked up, and I said some things that I probably would regret about Virginia and like what it is to be a Cavalier.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be like that guy, but I will say this.
Are you playing takebacks?
Yeah, I'm just tired of it, man. I'm tired of, like our brand. Like people look at this and they say, "Hey, Virginia's a bunch of wine and cheese people." That's what they're already saying. We got beat by guys going to the seminary and Zach Ertz's school, and you could say, "Hey, everybody's at Barry O's." That's what I hear. You could say, "Hey, this is an intelligence test." That's what Macon said. Oh, we're too smart to have the Jello shots. Well, that's what people think about us, that we think we're too smart. You look up on the hill, it looks like the stock exchange.
So what
the
about-
coats and ties up there?
I say this. What about since the NCAA might change the weed rule, what happens when someone does a charity for buying joints?
Yeah.
Maybe UVA.
Stanford wins.
Maybe no. Maybe
No, because they
what?
smoke good.
You don't think the guys in Harrisonburg are smoking more weed?
And their mascot is a tree.
The guys in Harrisonburg are getting
way.
way more stoned than the UVA guys.
No, but I'm just saying, like for this challenge,
Yep.
Yeah.
maybe that's our bailout. Is that like even though we're at the bottom,
But you guys can drink your weight
But
in
drinking is
water.
kind of played out now, man. It's not safe.
Yeah, it's on the decline.
And it
except
shouldn't be-
for in Baton Rouge, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, dude, the land of Steve Forbes.
Steve Forbes came in there and bought a whole bunch
He
of
must
shots.
have,
but
dude.
No,
LSU
actually, the
LSU
guy. I don't like that.
Yeah.
They actually cheated realistically because the guy went in there and bought 6,000 shots to break a
Raising
record,
Cane's.
and he owns Raising Cane's, and he didn't even go to LSU.
Yeah. Now they were already way ahead. Like when he did that, they were way ahead.
But I understand. I understand now. You know why? Because it was a callback because they had Angel Reese in there,
Right.
so he probably owes them. a
Angel
favor.
Reese.
yeah.
Can we do a callback to Angel Reese's Sports Illustrated swimsuit cover?
You like that?
Strong.
Yeah?
Strong.
Yeah, but yeah, you don't look.
Not too long. Can't live for too long.
Yeah, anyways, $5 a shot. This goes to food banks.
National championship effort.
Good cause. Now, Kevin Backey, Bad Back Backey, did raise the point that he thinks that like to produce as many Jello shots, he said, and I quote, like, is there an assembly line of monkeys making Jello shots?
No.
And the volume, he said, don't get me started on the volume alone at this amount of refrigeration space you would need. So I don't know how they're doing it. I'd love to go to Omaha. I know they've been doing a long time.
Have
I'm
you
sure
never
they
been?
Do they
have you
rig the
guys
election?
Never been to Costco? You know, Costco has a nice sized party bag of
Jell-O
Jello
shots?
shots
Really?
that you can buy that are unfrozen,
No way.
and you pop them in the freezer
way.
for about 4 hours. And I was
4
thinking
hours
that-
though. That's
I wonder if they're flipping the Costco Jello shots.
I would think they need some type of help. This isn't some type of
Help.
like if you're making 6,000 shots on the right on the spot, you have to have help doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that
H
they
word.
probably did.
Who do we want to win?
Doesn't
What?
matter.
Is Oral
like
Roberts
the
out?
tournament or the Jello?
The College World Series.
Wake Forest.
Wake Forest, they're the clear favorites.
Yeah,
They've
they're
been one of the
number
best
one.
teams. Yeah.
Oh, I think everyone too. Like they said that the
I want to see
money.
Wake win.
I root for ACC.
Yeah.
Virginia's
Who's
out.
still in it?
They say the money is going to the food banks
Virginia's out
in
of
these
it?
particular places. I think that we need to make sure that a food bank out here is getting a lot of money.
That's
like
true.
they should be stocked until
We need
the
to go
new
s-
year.
yeah, 60
like
minutes.
with all this money, I wonder if it's all of it or if it's some of it, because all these food banks with this amount of money that they're making, they should be stocked into the new year.
Yeah,
I
well, let's
think.
check it out.
I think we should.
Yeah.
So we still have Wake Forest, LSU, Tennessee, and Florida, TCU, and Oral Roberts. So
I want Oral Roberts or Wake Forest. The Oral Roberts guys have filthy mustaches.
They could meet in the final. Oral Roberts needs to go on a run.
That is not how I pictured the Oral Roberts players. You know, I thought that they'd all be like megachurch looking guys. No.
Really?
Not, well, yeah, Oral Roberts is like big, isn't it big time religious?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oral
Where
Roberts
is
is Oklahoma.
Big time religious means big time horny. I'm not sure if you understand that.
Yeah, that's true.
So they're probably dirty dogs.
Bunch of dirt digglers.
Those guys are dirty dogs.
Oral Roberts in Oklahoma.
Tulsa.
Yeah, Tulsa.
Retroactive number 6
think
on
they
my
s-
horny athlete
you think they
draft.
soak out
Oral
there?
Roberts, baseball player.
Yeah, they're horny.
If you soak, are you horny?
They soak and
Yes.
they got a
Yes,
buddy jumping on the
'cause you're
bed.
not
Yeah.
you're not able to release the tension.
Yeah, you got to have a buddy
that's what I
jumping
mean.
on the
So
bed.
Wouldn't that technically mean you're less horny if
No,
I'm
you're
able,
more horny.
If I'm able to
Two
hold
buddies jumping on the
No,
bed.
no.
it? If you're
No
if you're
more
able to hold it,
monkeys jumping on the bed.
All right.
That's
speaking of
Miss
horny.
Rachel.
Yeah.
you can't say that. You can't say that
Dynamite
anymore.
Dynamite.
Speaking of horny,
Say what?
we've got a very horny NBA player, and he's getting all of his read receipts.
Yeah.
Red receipts are getting put out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Zion. Well, you must be talking about Zion
Hey,
Williamson.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
the
gotta
one.
put it out there. She said this herself, whether it's true or not. Which I think the way all of she's exposing everything, I'm starting to believe about 95% of everything that she is saying and putting out there. If she legit made him cry by giving him head, I might understand why he's acting like this, because I've never got a blowjob that made me cry, bro.
Yeah.
Like, do you know the extent like that would have to go
He's
on?
been getting called fat a lot lately, so like
Yeah,
to get
I
some
don't-
really good head, he might just have a release, like, and just be like, feel good about it.
No. The fact that she's showing
Cathartic.
that the fact that she's showing that he is still contacting her while this is all going
He
on.
is?
Like, yes.
Yep.
I can yes.
That's what I respect about Zion is he's past the point of no return and he's like leaked the sex tape.
He's like
I
the
mean,
Roy
everyone
family.
knows
We
I'm
don't
horny.
get embarrassed.
No,
Everybody
but the
knows I'm
reason
horny.
why he wants the sex tape to get leaked is because she's going to get put in jail. It is a felony. Revenge porn is a felony, and
yeah.
everyone knows that.
Yeah, so it's a
And
bluff.
Realistically, it's a bluff, and for her, it's marketing for her OnlyFans.
That's what it is.
And if I was her manager, I would say get a Zion look-alike and tease
You
something.
just got to find a 6'7" guy with a head like a square Lego piece. You know.
We know a lot of them.
So, anyways, no, I just. What about the guys that
and some.
also?
What did she say about his dick? Lame dick.
She said
No.
She said
Did
like he got like lame dick.
that. Okay, well, what about the guys?
Your dick is trash.
I
That's
don't
what
like
she
that.
said.
That's the 5% I don't believe. Girls always say that after the fact.
What about the guys that, maybe came across Mariah Mills that are in the league and are quaking in their little LeBrons right now?
They're just
You know,
glad that
because
he
they're
wore
like,
it.
what if I get exposed?
They obviously didn't do enough. They obviously they obviously did not do enough to make her fall in love the way she's obviously in love with Zion.
Yes.
Because that's what it's showing also. It shows in like she has no
He has a
quit.
sweet side.
Yes, and she really fell for him. And I think the fact that she's older, maybe she was like, ooh, I got him wrapped up, like doing whatever I want. And the fact that he got someone else pregnant and she knows that puts
broke
a
her
damper.
heart.
It really, it's obvious
She
that
seems chill.
She's very heartbroken.
Well, Zion's supposedly going to get traded to Portland now, and I think that's a good thing. And it's because in Portland, like it's very cloudy, it's very rainy, and if it's sunny, your body produces less melatonin, and melatonin can actually block your sex drive. So there's something.
Why are
with
you
the
saying
pineal-
Portland?
Portland's not real. It's not real sunny.
You think he's going there?
You're hornier in sunny weather.
That's the rumor.
That's the room. Yeah, the rumor he's going
Oh,
to Portland.
100%.
Now, also, Portland has more strip clubs per capita than anywhere in the United States,
Really?
according to Ralph, who cuts our socials.
Ralph.
I don't know what's next. Like, I'm thinking, are we going to see in a year like an Antifa gal pop up? I'm going to leak the video. You putting that Molotov cocktail where it's not supposed to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
What do you think the NBA would not like approve? What trade? Like where would you
Miami,
want?
he'd be too horny.
Yeah.
It would be like there'd be
So if he
on the
doesn't,
light
okay,
poles.
or better yet, if he doesn't go to Portland, what would be the next two spots? If you were, what is it, Stern?
Trying to keep him not
Stern.
horny.
Silver.
Silver. David,
Stern's dead.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
I almost spit my water out like David Stern.
Yeah. What next two teams?
Milwaukee.
Oklahoma City.
Milwaukee.
I think Oklahoma City was so virgin energy that when James Harden got to Houston, that's what like turned him out. That he was like the kid that never got to go out.
Yeah.
So like I think Oklahoma City's up there. You don't want to go Charlotte because Charlotte's a lot of fun.
What
like,
about the Jazz?
The Jazz, Utah? No, the Mormon
He'd be
gals.
swimming in
he'd
it.
be floating.
He would be snowboarding.
He
in
would
it.
float. I have a sex tape of Zion Williamson.
His fat ass would be.
And is that
down
porn
the
if you're
hill.
floating? So revenge porn could be in play there. I don't know.
Soaking.
The third, I think Sacramento is probably pretty tough.
Sacktown.
Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You said that? Put him
With
in
Giannis.
Milwaukee.
You know what Sacramento translates to, right?
With the Greek freak?
What, Kyle? Loosely.
No, I mean you think about it.
Okay.
Sacktown.
Okay, Kyle. All right.
Not Sacramento.
No, Zion, I hope he ends up somewhere where he's not going to be horny because this is beginning to be a distraction, I think.
It turns out wherever he is, he can bring them in. So you could put him in Russia, and he's going to bring it in.
So a little treat today for those of you who golf, who love the beautiful
Losing
game.
golf balls.
What do they call it? Is there a name for golf?
Golf.
Like soccer, they call it the beautiful game.
Oh, the long game, the impatient game,
Is it the gentleman's sport?
it can be the gentleman's sport until you've had X amount of cocktails and start losing golf balls. And the four-letter words start flying.
Well, if you like that sport, you might like the next two interviews. We have a couple golfers. Neither of them had a ton of time because they're getting ready for the Travelers Championship, as they call it. Tony Finau and Patrick Cantlay. Tony is 6'4". He's a fucking stud. He's a golfer I've heard of. I've also heard of Patrick Cantlay, to be fair. But Tony seems like he's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get to Tony, and then I'm going to bet a little golf. I'll tell you who I'm going to bet this week at Travelers, and we'll finish the show with Patrick Cantlay. All right, so we got golf on the docket today. We got a couple great golfers joining. One that I've actually watched play. Guy's awesome, Tony Finau. He's getting ready for Travelers, and I appreciate him joining. Tony, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me on, man.
Of course. Like with the Wyndham Clark thing, man, like diving right into it, I kind of tracked it. He was not somebody that I expected to win that Open. When you're playing as somebody who people figure you're gonna be in the mix, you're one of the better golfers in the game. Does this come out of nowhere for you? Are you aware of Wyndham Clark, or do you guys track the up and comers, the guys who maybe just won a tournament, who might be within striking range at a big Open event like that?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I've known Wyndham for a long time. We had the same coach for a while, and then he left. My coach, Boyd Summerhays, maybe about 18 months ago. But I've known of him for a long time. He's a great player. But he's just had a heck of a year. But it's a crazy game that we play. Golf is funny that way. It's not like tennis where the top ranked guys are going to be in the semifinals and finals every single major. It's quite different in our game. On any given week, some guy can get hot and win a big golf tournament. It's not the most likely to get someone that's ranked 100 to win a major championship, but it's not like it's never happened before. So, I would say Wyndham's not a big surprise. He's won a big tournament earlier this year, and now he's starting to prove that he's got what it takes to win big golf tournaments. So, it was quite something to see. He's a great player.
How much harder is it for somebody like Rory, who's chasing that major, and it's been a while, and everybody's probably rooting for Wyndham because it's like a storyline sport. In my sport, you're not thinking about that while you play. You got a lot of time to walk up to the ball and think about your putt, like what's harder, being Wyndham or being Rory in that situation?
Yeah, well, it's Rory hasn't won a major, I'm going on almost 10 years now. And that, if you would have told that to somebody back when he won his fourth major in 2014, I think people would be like, he's either had to be injured or retired or something. There's no way that he would go this long without winning a big major tournament. So the pressure, I think, maybe is starting to build a little bit with Rory, but you also have to look at it as, he's someone that has won 4 majors already. I know that he wants to win another one, but depending on who you are, I know Rory's a great player. At some point, he is going to knock off another major win. He's came really close over the last couple of years. I know he has 3 or 4 seconds in the last few years, so he's coming really close. But I would say there's probably still more pressure on someone like Wyndham, who hasn't won a big one. So
yeah, and while you're watching this stuff, like you're golfing, I don't know how it works with y'all. At what point do you say, okay, I'm out of contention in this thing? You kind of switch to I'm hitting the golf ball and I'm watching. Like I heard maybe Rory or somebody said, Ricky actually said that he was streaming at the Masters like late in the round because he was out of it and he wanted to see who won. Like, do you become a fan a little bit, and are you able to be a fan and focus on your job?
Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan of the game. I love following, especially just the big tournaments, seeing how guys are gonna play under pressure, and how the tournament's gonna go under over the last few holes and under pressure. So I enjoy watching it. I knew I was pretty much out of the golf tournament early on Sunday. I knew I had to make a pretty hard push early, make some birdies early if I was going to make any type of run. And I didn't do that. So I knew I was out of the golf tournament pretty early. And then you just kind of watch the leaderboard and see how guys are doing. And then as soon as I finished, I went to the hotel, turned the TV on and watched the guys finish up. So I'm a big fan of the game. I love sports just in general. And I love watching what guys do under pressure, and in the highest stake moments in sports, you start to see what guys are really made of.
Well, I know you're a Dallas Cowboys fan. Is that right?
Yeah, Dallas Cowboys fan. That's right.
How do we feel about this year, real quick?
It's been a tough go really my whole life.
You just missed all the good stuff, dude.
I literally just missed. I was like 3 years old when they won when they won their last one, so that doesn't really count. It's been a rough go, but I'm a loyal fan, so I'm excited about the year, but it's hard to, I don't know if excited is the word. It's hard to be excited as a Cowboys fan because your anticipation every year seems to be pretty high, and then you end the year with disappointment. So, but I am a true fan, and we'll be cheering them on again this year. You got a favorite player on the Cowboys? Well, I got to meet Troy Smith and Dak Prescott. Oh yeah, I think so we're big fans of both of theirs. I think they're both great players, but do things the right way on and off the field. Those are the only couple guys that I've actually met in person. Outside of that, I'm a fan of all the guys. I think they got CeeDee Lamb's a great player. They got some good pieces over there, but those are the two only guys that I met in real life. So I would say I'm a bigger fan of theirs. Yeah. So where were you when Rory had that ball sunk in the grass there? Like, were you aware of that? Are you guys all aware of that rule? Because it feels like in real time, people on Twitter are like, "What the fuck do we do here? Is Rory cheating? Is it not cheating? Like, I've never heard of this rule. Like, what are y'all thinking in real time while that whole thing's going down?" Yeah, my wife was telling me the same thing. She's like, I can't believe Rory just got a free drop from there. So the rule is basically it's an embedded ball, meaning as long as it's not in a hazard. So a bunker is considered a hazard. Since it was outside the bunker, still in grass, if your ball flies into a hole and doesn't bounce out, you get a free relief. You get a free drop from there. You get a full club length. No closer to the hole from that position. So if you're a golfer, you know that rule. I could see someone, if they were watching for the first time or not familiar with the rules, how they could say that was unfair. But it was a legal drop by all means. And, at the end of the day, this still didn't cost Wyndham the tournament. So, people talked about the difficulty of the U.S. Open course there. And then Travelers, I know, has got some difficult aspects to it. How do y'all scout in your sport a course? Like, I know you have practice rounds, but is there anything in the classroom? Are you watching something on TV beforehand? Are you studying that course more than we might expect? Yeah, every week has its challenges. Every golf course has its challenges. This week at the Travelers, it's a golf course that's pretty straightforward right in front of you until you get to the back nine. The last few holes I think are amazing. Some of the best finishing holes in all of golf, and then for me, you just see how the golf course is playing. Is it going to be firm this year? Has there been a lot of rain in the area? You know, a lot of golfers turn into weathermen. You know, us and our caddies. You know, we're trying to figure out, how much has it rained over the last couple weeks, just so we have an idea how the golf course is going to play. But for the most part, I'm entering, my 10th season on tour. So these are a lot of courses I've played many times. And the biggest thing is just understanding how the golf course is going to play that week.
And a belated Happy Father's Day to you, man. I hope it was fun. I know, you got some kids running around and you're taking your family on tour. Like, how special is that to take your kids on tour and to watch them kind of watch you? I know your son was streaming the Warriors during the tournament. I saw that. I was like, that's my dude. I love that guy. What's it like having, your family on tour with you?
Yeah, well, it's organized chaos. That's what I'll say. It's like a traveling circus, but it's a lot of fun. I wouldn't have it any other way. My kids are at an age where they love being around mom and dad. We love traveling together, and I'll take advantage of that for as long as it is that way. So I love having my kids around, and it's a dream come true for me to be able to play a game for a living and do what I do what I love for a living, and to have my family along for the ride just makes it even sweeter.
Do they fanboy over any golfers not named Tony Finau? And have you ever fanboyed over meeting a golfer?
Yeah, I mean, when I first met Tiger, Tiger, Vijay Singh, Ernie Els, these are all guys that I looked up to playing golf since I was a kid. So when I first saw them, I definitely fangirled over it. But my oldest son is a huge golf fan, and he's more into the game. I would say he follows more closely the game than I do. So he loves all the PGA Tour players. He knows just about everybody. And so whenever he hasn't met one and sees them for the first time, he definitely is blushing a little bit just because he knows who they are. So
last question for you, and thank you for the time, man. I know you said you missed your buddies in the wake of the whole live thing. Where were you when that news broke? Did you learn in person? Did you learn on social media? And then, how do you feel right now about the future of golf?
Yeah, it's a strange time. It's a weird time, no question. I was just at home when the news broke just over a week ago on the potential merger. I think we're still learning exactly what that means. I know the deal hasn't been done yet, so it's a strange time. But I will say, as a player, it's our responsibility to try and get it right now, for the future of the game. And I don't know what it's going to look like, but we have a say in what it will look like. And so we got to get it right for the future of our game and the future generations. So we're going to try our best to, as players, to come together and do what we feel like is going to be the best for our game.
Tony, good luck at Travelers. Thanks for coming on, man. This has been a treat. I hope you come back soon.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, Chris.
Yeah, brother. Take it easy. Nice meeting you.
You too.
All right, man.
Dude, you got to start betting golf. It is
okay, I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it right now. Hold on.
You have this resource.
I'm going to do it in real
here.
time right now. We're going to do it in real time. Okay.
So Reed knows everything about golf. He doesn't bet a lot, but he keeps on picking winners. Like multiple tournaments throughout this year, he's picked winners.
It's fucking bullshit, Reed.
So I've just started listening to him. Reed, who do you like this week?
It's all luck, and I have never bet a winner. I just give them all to you by chance. But despite, I don't know, Scotty, you can always bet on Scotty. He's
plus 550 where I'm seeing it.
Not the biggest.
You just told me
winner, but
I got to listen to Reed. Well, he's like, you can always bet Scotty. You say no.
Well, I see him at plus 650. That's why.
You see him at plus 650. So the odds there, we're out in the deep end now. We don't have a gambling sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody
we can shop around.
Somebody hit me up this morning and was like, man, I don't even know what to do with myself without hearing bet big, win bigger.
Yeah.
I'm still gambling. Scotty Scheffler plus 550, John Rahm plus 750, Rory McIlroy plus 800, Patrick Cantlay plus 1,000. Our guy here.
He's not a bad pick.
Okay.
You also have
down on him.
Well, and it's a 4-day sweat. That's the thing you got to get into, because when you bet something, let's say Wednesday night, you get 4 days of sweating it up and down with like possible mistakes. It's a great
And you can
sweat.
live bet, different golfers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's cool because you don't have to pick like an outright winner. You can like kind of parlay guys together, like top 5, top 10. You can do head-to-heads, which are fun. Like who's going to shoot a better round.
Do the round leader.
For full, winners, Cameron Young at plus 5,000. He is he's been nearly touching the podium on a couple tournaments this year. He has really ridiculous length. And then Sahith Theegala is a super young golfer. He is not. He calls himself overrated, but he's ridiculously good.
60-1.
Yeah, he is. I would not be surprised if he gets a win.
How do I spell his name?
Sahith. I
don't know if he's on my board.
It'll be down there a good amount. And that's one thing I like with picking the winners in golf. Like, don't bet one dude.
No, bet like five dudes. I'm gonna
make money if one of them wins, but
I'm gonna budget myself like a few hundo here, and I'm just gonna sprinkle it.
I can't wait to sweat golf this weekend with you.
This guy, Andrew Svoboda, is plus 20,000.
Yeah, I don't know much about
$1
Andrew, but yeah, throw it on there.
It's like playing the lotto.
Mm-hmm.
Sung Jae Im is also a good pick. He is he's a really freaking cool dude, and he's gonna win a couple tournaments.
Do you think Wyndham Clark could go back to back, Reed?
Who?
Wyndham? 50-1.
It's freaking tough, especially coming off a like your first major
win.
And your first good showing at a major. He hadn't really done well at any majors that he previously played in. Another front runner that is always a good bet, especially right now, he's playing really well, Victor Hovland.
Mm-hmm.
And he's fun.
Hovland.
You'd like him a lot. He's a cool dude. He's
yeah. Who do you think I'd like the most personality wise on the
Fowler.
Victor, Ricky.
Why?
Ricky Fowler's a badass. He is a normal dude. He stays long. He lost the most disappointing tournament of his career on Sunday. Stayed for hours afterwards signing autographs for fans. He's just a good dude.
He also grew up as a motocross racer, and he was choosing between motocross and dirt bikes and golf.
I know this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dripped
cool
out.
dude.
45-1 this weekend. I like.
He's always
it.
wearing orange.
Yeah, he's got that orange. Yeah, Tiger had the red. Ricky's got the orange with the flat brim.
Okay, so I'm looking at Fowler, for reasons that we just outlined.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick Cantlay. I really want to bet Tommy Fleetwood. I just like his hair.
I know he's been on your Masters Calcutta team every single year.
Plus 2,200.
He just doesn't win a lot of tournaments.
Okay, he gets close.
close.
Finau, though, plus 2,200.
I would bet Tony.
Okay, I'm gonna
Tony,
top 15 player in the world.
He always wins a tournament or two the last couple of years in June and July.
Okay.
He's a safe bet.
And you said
around this time.
Sung J.M.?
Sung Jae. Yeah.
At plus 4,000?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I got Sung J.M., I got Tony Finau, I got Patrick Cantlay. I'm going to add Ricky Fowler in here.
Throw Ricky Fowler in. You'd like Jason Day, too. He's an Australian. I think you probably would recognize him.
No, I'm looking up Jason Day, Reed, but, yeah, I know what he looks like. Yeah. Would I just bet Scotty Scheffler just in case the chalky guy wins?
I would throw. Okay.
I'd put a small amount, enough to cover my other bets if he wins.
That's good. Okay.
Cool. I'm looking forward to sweating some golf. Let's hear from Patrick Cantlay, and then we'll see you all again on Friday with a special guest.
Oh, guys, I'm just going to say who it is. Okay, it's Anders Holm from Workaholics,
Hilarious.
And we just wrapped that interview. I fucking love the guy. The guy's great. I first met him on Twitter telling your mom jokes, just randomly. I forget how we talk about it on the show. And ever since, he actually, I was really flattered by this, was like, yo, when am I going to get on Greenlight? He likes the show, and I actually really like his podcast. This is important with the boys from Workaholics. And me and Macon have not seen Workaholics at length. I watch mostly YouTube clips of this show. Over the last year or two, I've tried it out online, and then when I knew I had Durs on, I was like, I gotta hunker down and watch some of this shit. It's a fucking funny show. A lot of you are like, yeah, it's news to you. Well, we talked about that with Anders. So check that out Friday. It's like 90 minutes of just bullshit and me making an under. So come back Friday for that. Enjoy Patrick Cantlay. Okay,
Patrick,
cool.
I wanted to start with asking you about like last week with all the coverage of the Open. The LA Country Club stands alone in its in all the rules and all the pomp and circumstance, no phones and all this shit. So many different rules. What stood out to you as the most out of place rule? What struck you the most about the rules at LACC?
Well, it was a U.S. Open week, so it was just like another week as far as the rules go. There are not police and cell phones out there at the U.S. Open or anything. But, when I was in college, I had planned to go to the course one day, and I forgot that you couldn't wear shorts. It was warm, and they make you wear pants out there. So I had to turn around. It was only a couple minute drive from UCLA. I had to turn around and put some pants on.
Damn, dude.
That would be an easy job to be the guy that has to go enforce dress code
at
policy.
the LACC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a pretty good setup. What do you think of the setup on the course? I know people talked about, the conditions out there. Tough course. It certainly showed up watching. What'd you think about the way that course played, and how different is Travelers going to be for you?
Yeah, Travelers will be quite a bit different. Obviously, different grasses, and not set up as difficult. I mean, LA Country Club, I thought, played really long. There were a number of holes that played long. The par threes were some of the longest I think we've seen on maybe any golf tournament, any golf course that we've played. Multiple 3-wood, 7-wood par threes. And then, the finishing stretch there with every par four over 500 yards. And, one of them's 545. So we're hitting, 4, 5, 6 irons in even after hitting a tee shot, over 300 yards, which is abnormal.
Obviously, that play, all these tournaments you're playing, and particularly the majors, when you have to play golf at the top of your game for 4 days, if you don't start off the right way, can you speak to the challenge it is to stay in it mentally and finish strong and to finish in the top 15 like you did this past week?
Yeah, I think golf's a long time. It takes four days to play, and we're out there for 5 hours a day for the most part. Especially on Thursday and Friday. And so you just have to treat it more like a marathon and not like a sprint. You can have a couple bad holes or a bad 9 and still recover. I didn't play that well Thursday, Friday, to be honest, and then played much better on the weekend. And, I never had a chance really to win with those guys getting off to such a hot start. Thursday and Friday mornings were the scoring rounds, and I didn't play particularly well on Thursday or Friday. But I had a nice weekend and try and carry some of that momentum over into this week.
Did I read this right? You had the Travelers course record there for a while?
I did, yeah, until Jim Furyk shot 58. Kind of just
fucking Jim
58.
crushed it.
Why do you play that course well? And what goes into scouting? We had Tony Finau on earlier, and I was asking him, what goes into scouting different courses for y'all as football players? The way we prepare is so different, and you guys are kind of playing against a venue. It's you and the venue. What goes into the prep, and something that might surprise people about that?
Yeah, I think definitely your first couple years on tour, that prep and getting to know the golf courses and the hole locations that they use is really important. Now, I think I just finished media, and they said it was my 9th start in this event. So if I haven't figured it out by now, I'm probably not going to figure it out ever. This golf course this week, it's really important to drive the golf ball in the fairway. The golf course is short, but there's still a number of holes that you hit driver on. And so if you can drive the ball in the fairway, you'll have a lot of wedges and a lot of opportunities to make birdies.
How's this swag bag you get from some of these tournaments, man? Mm-hmm. Like, what's the one tournament that you come away with the best cool stuff?
Travelers always takes care of us. They always have something in there for the girlfriend or the wife. And, so sometimes there'll be a bottle of wine or something in there. And then Pro-Am, they always have Big Green Truck Pizza out, which is nice. Really nice pizza, really good pizza, best of the year. And so they do a great job here this week.
Do you have a routine, like, like we have game day routines? Like, what's your golf, match day routine, and like the night before and everything? Do you have particular kind of superstitions or ways you do things?
I'm not too superstitious, but I definitely start, with my physical therapist at the same time before every round, whether it's a 7:15 round or a 2:15 in the afternoon round. And so by the time I kind of start with him, I get into my own routine. And so it doesn't matter what time I'm really teeing off. It's the same cadence leading into the round every day, which I think is important to set you up to feel the same all the time, which in golf is really what you're trying to do.
What goes into that routine, like physically? What are you mostly guarding against happening, from a training and prehab perspective?
Yeah, just trying to make sure your body's in the right spot to do the motion all day, and trying to feel the same all the time. I mean, for me, feel in golf is so important. If your club face is just a degree off or two off, that can, when the ball's going 300 yards, that's quite a big difference. And so trying to get my body in the same spot every time and having those feels be the same every time are really important. And so having my PT check me, make sure he's doing the same thing to put my body in the same spot every day before I play is really important, and has helped me a lot.
I'm a big snacker on the golf course, like your guy John Rahm eats a lot of PBJs on the course. I enjoy everything, and then at the turn I get hot dogs. What was your order growing up when you would get to the turn? What's your order? How do you take your hot dog? All that kind of stuff.
Chicago question there.
I don't have many dogs out on the course, but I'll eat a peanut butter and banana around the turn most every day out on tour.
What about the live news and everything? Like, it's really fascinating to me the way it unfolded, the way guys were getting that news in different ways. I know the Netflix documentary was filming, and I think they had some footage of the meeting, so a lot more to come out on that. But you've been outspoken. How did you learn, and what was your first reaction?
I mean, my biggest thing is that we just don't know enough about this deal to make a determination. And then, even at that point, I'd probably need to consult somebody that knows more about, mergers and acquisitions or investment banking to even, make a determination. I mean, that's not my forte. I hit 5 irons for a living. So, I think right now we're all just waiting with bated breath to see if there's any more info that comes out. We have a player meeting here tonight, so we'll see what they say in there. But, I'm on the policy board, so I'm sure this information will come out, and, eventually I'll have to, have input in this regard. And so I have to do my best to educate myself in order to represent the membership as best I can.
You talk about like international play, and team play more than anything with the Live Golf deal. Like, you're doing the Ryder Cup. What's it like being on a team, and how different is that experience and the strategy involved for a golfer, and kind of like the social aspect of it when you're playing with a guy you don't really know?
Yeah, those weeks are really special weeks because, all those guys are guys that we compete against each other each and every week. And so to have, the best American players on your team, and to be able to pull for Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns and Jordan and JT is really cool. And, it doesn't happen very often. So when it does, I think everyone gets pretty excited about it. And, everyone comes together and really pulls for each other. I've been fortunate enough to play a lot of matches with Xander Schauffele, who's one of my best friends out here. And so we get along great and have a blast those weeks.
Do you watch the end of the match, like when you're out of it, like you're still trying to do your best, finish strong, but like when somebody wins a match in dramatic fashion, do you get to stream any of that? Do you guys take breaks and follow this, the scoreboard, or do you just kind of focus on your job? Can you ever become a fan at the end of a match?
Yeah, definitely. If our match is finished up, or there's a session where I'm sitting out, and we'll be in the locker room and watching it on TV, definitely screaming at the TV, pulling for our guys as hard as we can.
Wyndham Clark, was that a surprise to you? Is there kind of chatter among y'all going into a tournament, or something like the Open, where you're like, this guy's been playing really well, watch out for this guy, or are you guys mostly kind of just head down, focusing on your job?
I would say most guys, including myself, are head down and trying to focus as much as we can on our own stuff. But Wyndham's been playing great this year. Obviously, he broke through at Wells Fargo and played fantastic last week. So, he deserves it and has been playing great this year. So it's not too big of a surprise.
you have like a favorite course that you just can't wait to play? It might not be the biggest tournament, but a place that you think is just gorgeous or special to you in any way that we might not, as run-of-the-mill golf fans, think about.
Yeah, I feel that way about Cypress Point, right next to Pebble Beach. I also feel that way about Pebble Beach. It's just so beautiful up there, and one of my favorite places in the world. So every time I get an opportunity to go play there, I jump on it.
And my other question would be, like, you're growing up playing golf. Now you get to be on tour and meet all these legends. I mean, you talk about Jim Furyk, like, breaking your course record. Like, I'm sure it's surreal just to be associated with some of these names, but to meet them, who have been some guys that have made the biggest impressions on you, or maybe that you fanboyed about a little bit meeting?
Yeah, I grew up in Southern California, and so John Cook, who won on the tour, a bunch of times, over 10 times, was a mentor of mine, and so I was able to play a lot of golf with him and still count him as a very good friend of mine. And same for Fred Couples. He moved to Newport Beach, maybe 10 years ago or something like that. And so we've played a lot of golf. And those are two guys that were obviously legends and have played, some excellent golf on tour. And so learning from them and being able to pick their brains and count them as some of my really good friends in the game of golf has been, an honor and a privilege, because they're great guys and excellent golfers, and, they're a blast to be around.
How do you pick your outfit, man? Because you're pretty well dressed. There's one thing is, like, football players, we all got to wear the same damn thing. You can't be you can't let that individualism shine. Like, how do you come up with your swag, and, like, how does that decision go from a timeline standpoint? Do you ever throw it together the night before a match?
No, I'll have it scripted out by my team ahead of time. That's not anything I worry too much about. I just see what's in my locker, put it on and go.
We've been breaking down some sports movies here. Last question for you. Do you have a favorite golf movie?
Definitely growing up, Happy Gilmore. Couldn't stop laughing at Adam Sandler, obviously. And then as I've gotten a little older, have really appreciated Caddyshack. All the little tiny quips and little things that you don't notice the first time you watch it. But you can't go wrong with either of those two.
Is the golf realistic in Caddyshack?
It is. It is way more realistic than Happy Gilmore.
Oh, yeah, Happy Gilmore is a little unrealistic.
Yeah, especially Mrs. Haverkamp in the trees.
Dude. Well, those are good answers, man. I love Tin Cup. We're about to break down Tin Cup, so that's one of my personal favorites. Patrick, really appreciate you taking the time, and wishing you the best of luck this week. Keep up the great work.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.